It's the Weekly Show with David J. Maloney. This week, David talks to Milton Segarra of Coastal Mississippi and singer and The Voice contestant Rod Stokes. With this month's guest band, Tyler Livingston and the Absolutes, and me, Jonna Farmer. Now, here's your host, David J. Maloney.
Welcome to everyone at home and in our studio audience to the Weekly Show. I am your host, David J. Maloney, and standing in for the Mogiles for a few shows is Tyler Livingston and the Absolutes. I also want to give another thank you and shout out to AA Productions for hooking us up with some sound production on short notice when the Mogiles went on tour. Again, special thanks to them. Now, if you have not heard, Willie Nelson has canceled several of his shows due to breathing problems on the advice of his doctor. Willie has thus temporarily switched from recreational marijuana to medical marijuana. According to Radar Online, Barbara Walters hasn't been seen in public since 2016. Friends fear that she has become a recluse. We're going to do this on everyone. So every year, you'll like this one, guys. Every year, they hold a national air guitar championship in Nashville, Tennessee. The winner this year, fellow's name was Rob the Marquis Messel. He graciously accepted his trophy for playing air guitar, and then, of course, went back to his hotel room with two imaginary groupies. In DeLand, Florida, a man called the police after he found an intruder in his bathroom taking a shower. The cops who searched him said he was clean. But yeah, I got to give myself one on that one. In Iran, drug addiction is now affecting a rising number of women, which is dangerous because for Iranian females, the penalty for getting stoned is getting stoned. He is going to do it on everyone. And in Ohio, this is the one you should have saved it for. And in Ohio, a 47-year-old man was arrested for gratifying himself in front of guests at a hotel. This is a true story. But when cops told him he had the right to an attorney, he said, "No thanks, I'll get myself off." If you've never seen the Weekly Show before, keep watching. We typically feature one local guest who is hopefully somebody that you already know or would like to know more about, and one big name guest. So for tonight's show, we have Milton Segarra with Coastal Mississippi here to chat about the amazing work they're doing for tourism in Mississippi, as well as one of last season's, I just have to kind of go off card on this one. Rod Stokes, he finished, I think, 8th on The Voice. What an incredible, incredible voice. He is on our show tonight, so you're not going to want to miss it, and we'll be right back. And we are back. Joining me is my trusty sidekick for a couple of shows, Jonna Farmer.
Hello, thanks for having me back.
Our first guest tonight is from an organization doing some truly incredible work to bring tourism and activity to our beautiful coastal communities. Please give a warm welcome to Milton Segarra and Coastal Mississippi. Milton, before we start talking about your work, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm from Puerto Rico. I've been here in the coast for the last 18 months. My wife, my daughter, we're having a great time. This is a great place to live, a great place to work. We love the people here. We have felt welcome since day one. So thank you so much for this opportunity. And to be part of this show is phenomenal for us, and share with you what we're doing to bring more visitors to here, to the coast, coastal Mississippi.
What brought you to this line of work?
Well, that's a very good question. My grandfather, back in the 1950s in Puerto Rico, he bought a small hotel at that time with a partner, and that business grew in our family. My father, my uncle, they all bought properties, and I was honestly, I was born in a hotel. So I see this line of work as a lifestyle, is something that I'm sure you do with your profession as well, and doing this. So it's been something that I like very much. I did this for Puerto Rico for many years, and now I'm here using my talents with a phenomenal group of people in my office and with a great group of commissioners and elected officials and the community to make sure people knows about what we do, what we are, and why they should come and visit Coastal Mississippi.
Let's talk about the organization. What exactly is Coastal Mississippi for those of our viewers who don't already know?
Absolutely. Coastal Mississippi is the official organization in charge of promoting Coastal Mississippi as a leisure and business destination. We go all over the world, primarily in our region here in the States, and make sure people know about our casinos, our hotels, our venues and restaurants, and everything we do so people can come and visit. Maybe you don't know, but every year we have close to 13.5 million visitors to our coast.
Wow.
From Bay St. Louis to Moss Point. And obviously that's a phenomenal responsibility for us. More than $3.3 billion in total business is generated every year in this particular line of business. So I think it's very important. 1/3, and this is something the coast should be so proud, 1/3 of all the business that is happening here in the state of Mississippi happens here in the coast. 1/3 of all the jobs in tourism for the state of Mississippi are here. 1/3 of the taxes are here. 1/3 of whatever you call it in the tourism industry, it's happening here in Coastal Mississippi.
Right on the coast. Where did the secret coast come from? What is that?
Well, I don't know if this has happened to you, but many times when you bring somebody to the coast, they say, wow, I didn't know you have this. I didn't know you have all of this, the casinos and the hotels and the restaurants and all that type of things, the beautiful coast, the river, the museums. So at the end, we just pay attention to what the customers were saying. And you guys are the best kept secret. You are the hidden gem of the South. So we took that and we blend that with our new regional name, which is Coastal Mississippi. And that is because, Mississippi is a beautiful state, but you have different colors, different landscape, different architecture all over the state. And we're different. And we should be different because we are at the coast. We have a very different way of seeing how things are happening, how we like to live, and how we welcome people to the coast. And we created Coastal Mississippi, the secret coast.
What comes to mind when you think of some of Mississippi's hidden gems?
Well, let me tell you. First, sometimes people doesn't know that before going into the moon, you have to go through Stennis here in Mississippi. All the rockets that are being tested in Stennis to go to any of our mission space aircraft happens here. 60 to 70% of all the shrimps and oysters are produced in our Mississippi Sound. And you can see how many different things about the gaming that we have, the different hotels that we have, the festivals, Normally, every weekend, there is a festival going on here in one of our beautiful 12 small towns. So those are the type of things that people doesn't know. And our main goal is to make sure people knows and they are aware there are so many things that people can do if they come and visit.
What would you say are the primary focuses? Foci. I'm not even sure what the word is for that.
I got it.
For the rest of this year and going into next year.
Well, right now we are finishing summer. We have had our challenges this summer because of the situation with the Bonnet Carré spillway and the water intrusion in our Mississippi Sound. But we are finishing really strong, doing very specific initiatives to make sure our hotels and restaurants and all the components of the industry, they can get a fair share and finish strong. But we're preparing ourselves for the upcoming festivals. Now in September, we have the Biloxi Festival, Food Festival. We have the Chilling on the Coast. Then we have Cruising the Coast, which is the second best, voted by all the American people, the second best car show in America. It's happening here in our coast. And then in November, we have the Peter Anderson Festival. So we have back-to-back big-time activities that is going to help us to finish the year very strong. And then lay out our 2020 initiative to start the cycle again and bring people to the coast.
Shauna, do you have any questions for Milton?
I do, because
Of course you do.
You so beautifully described why people are going to be surprised when they get here and the events. So I'm social media minded. I work in the media, and oftentimes we have to write a tagline in a certain number of words. If you had to describe the people, what words would you use? Because I think that is something that surprises tourists when they arrive too, because we have a certain something here on the coast that other places don't have. What adjectives would you use about the people?
I mean, here in the coast, we could do some hashtag, we are the best, hashtag welcome, hashtag the secret coast. But the most important thing for me is hashtag we love hospitality.
Hospitality. I think resilience comes to mind to me. Like we're not going to stop. We're going to keep going here on the coast. Nothing's going to bring us down. But hospitality is a big thing.
Oh, yes.
And we don't take ourselves too seriously. I think that's a good thing too. They get down here and they feel relaxed.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because when we did all the research we did last year, we are well known, and people feel that when you come and visit the coast, you're going to have a lot of excitement, but as well relaxation. And not many destinations can provide those two. Sometimes you go to a place and you want to be energized and excitement from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed again, or sometimes you just want to be alone, relax, and we can provide that. You know,
It sounds cliche, but then I guess hashtag Southern hospitality. Milton, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much, a pleasure.
We appreciate it. Milton Segarra, and we'll be right back. And we are back. Our second guest tonight, oh my God, is a phenomenal talent. He reached the top 8 on the TV show The Voice while on Kelly Clarkson's team, and is a local man about to record his first EP. He's got so much more to come. Please give it up for Rod Stokes. Hold on, you're so tall, I have to get up here.
You Rod.
So Rod,
Yes, sir.
You're basically kind of an honorary local. You grew up in Grand Bay, just right here on the coast, yeah?
Well, I grew up in Moss Point and graduated from Van Cleve High School and moved to Grand Bay once I married my wife. So I'm a Mississippi boy.
How did your music start? Was that something that started with The Voice or something that started with instruments?
Well, instruments. I started playing the drums at 14, teaching myself in my garage, my parents' garage. I know I wore them out with all the beating and banging. So, and I just gravitated. My senior year of high school, I started singing.
Well, the fun, you know, my kid's a drummer, but what I found is the stuff that sounds good isn't really banging. The stuff that sounds bad that's the banging.
It was bad.
That's
it was
the stuff
bad.
that's,
When I started, it was bad.
Were there any bands or songwriters that you followed that inspired you growing up, that made you decide to kind of take this path?
Growing up, I was raised in the church. I was raised strict. And so like all my parents listened to was gospel music. So we would sneak out to the shed, my sisters and I, and we'd take an old stereo system it had like a little plastic top with a record player on it. And we'd run some tinfoil and listen to 90s country music. So I grew up listening in that old white shed to Garth Brooks, to Tim McGraw, Faith Hill, Shenandoah, you name it. I love 90s country music.
You can't beat 90s country.
No.
Now, you're most known for just recently being on The Voice.
Yes, sir.
And I know you had to audition for that. I always wondered, do you have an audition for the audition for a show like that? Do you have to like audition to get the audition, or do you just go straight to the audition that we see on TV?
My journey was a little bit different. January the 11th of 2018, I submitted a video to Snapchat. And long story short, the voice of Snapchat chose me. And I ended up being on Kelly Clarkson's team on Snapchat. Well, I finished second place on The Voice on Snapchat. And they asked me if I wanted to come out for a private audition June 18th of 2018.
What was it like at one point having every judge? Because at one point every judge wanted you, right? What was that? How did that feel?
Well, I had I was a three-chair turn. I had Adam Levine, John Legend, and Blake Shelton. And Kelly didn't turn for me, which I was disappointed because she was my original choice.
I was going to say, that's weird.
Yeah, she was my first choice because like she's a soul singer, country singer. You know, she can pretty much sing anything. And
She's Southern.
Yeah.
But she stole you eventually, right?
She did. I ended up on everyone's team, everyone but John Legend's. But he turned for me. So,
what was it like? I mean, what were the differences between, for example, working with Blake and working with Kelly?
Blake's just a laid back guy. He's just laid back country boy, and Kelly's more like climbing on your shoulder. Hey, try this. Let's do this. You know, we had one instant like. We were in there and I look around and she has a Nachos Bel Grande crunching on it during rehearsal, during practice, off-camera practice. And she sings with me, she sang with me, and we had the best time.
I was going to ask you about that. What was it like being able to do a duet with her?
Oh, it was a dream come true. I mean, knowing that, you know, we could sing together, and me being the last man standing on her team was pretty incredible.
Do you find that the fact that she was on a show like that being American Idol, and had gone through that journey, that she had maybe a different insight that some of the other judges didn't have because it was a singing competition show?
Yeah, definitely. She understood like every emotion that we were feeling. I mean, it was intense. I mean, it was chaotic at times.
Do you, and this is something I've always kind of wondered about those things, do you guys ever get to stay in touch at all? In other words, if you had a situation where you were doing something and you needed input on something, would you be able to reach her and get her if you wanted to, or is once the show's done kind of, it's just...
I've been gone for 3 months now, a little over 3 months, and I talked to her about a week and a half ago. And she told me whatever I needed, she would help me.
Well, she's got her own talk show now.
And hook me up with the right people. So
we can give her a little nudge. She just got her own talk show now.
I mean, it's not as good as this one, but
of course.
You know.
Now, we've been told that one of the originals you're going to play for us was inspired by a line that she actually gave you. Right?
Yes, sir. She gave me a diary. She gave everyone on her team at the time. It was the top 13. And she gave us all a diary. And she wrote down a line. She said whatever came to her mind first. And she handed me the diary, and I wrote around it and completed a song. And I was able to write with a girl named Jamie Floyd, who was on Real Country this past year with Travis Tritt, Shania Twain, Jake Owen, and Rachel Thibodeau, who wrote Good Direction with Luke Bryan for Billy Currington. So I wrote with them, and I'm pretty blown away, like, the outcome.
Now, what can we expect for you in the future? I think you're going to Nashville to record soon, yeah?
Yes, sir. I've been to Tennessee 4 times in the last 3.5 weeks, and I'm leaving Saturday to go back to finish my EP. So just hopefully it's all original songs, and I have one song that I'm excited to, well, actually all 4 of them I'm really excited about, but the one with Kelly I'm super excited about.
So Jonna's on local country radio, so I'm sure she's got a question for you. What you got?
I do. So we've been talking about you clearly for a while now, and you're kind of big in the local scene, and you have a following, and now that you've been on TV, you've got a massive following. My question is, I go on the radio all the time and urge people to come join us at these concerts here on the coast, these huge artists. What is your dream venue to play?
Oh my gosh.
Because I know some artists like intimate, and some dream of playing the venue they grew up going to, and some want to play, New York City.
It's crazy. Like, I was on TV, so I was actually able to sing in front of millions as an old country boy from South Mississippi. It was so humbling. Like, every week in and week out, I'm trembling going on stage. But I would Garth Brooks is doing a stadium tour. And I I would probably just love to maybe fill a stadium up one day. It wouldn't even matter to me which football
Maybe
stadium.
go fill in, and then of course there's the Opry
Yeah.
too. That's
I mean,
another.
or
That's
the-
another
yeah.
Or
big
the
dream.
Ryman, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be incredible. I mean, it's just so many. Like, it's kind of like when you get to a peak of who's the best, greatest musician ever, who's the best singer ever.
hard.
It's like you can't really point that out because
Tiny
they're
Tim.
at
We
that-
all know it's Tiny Tim. So, Rod, we look forward to hearing from
Yes,
you later
sir.
on.
Thank you.
for being on the show.
you.
And we'll be right back. Special thanks to Milton Segarra, Jonna Farmer, Rod Stokes, and AB Productions. Closing out the show, Rod with his single, which was co-written by with Kelly Clarkson, "Gone Too Long."
You know me better than I do. When I'm drifting and needing you, when life gets loud, it all gets harder. The road keeps getting longer. You're the only thing that never moves. Take me to a simpler time, slow it back down to you and I. You know how to break right through, the only one who knows the truth. Take me down that old dirt road, the one that always brings me home. Turn it to my favorite song. You know, and I've been gone too long. So many times I don't know where to be. So many places this old world's pulling me. Try to break my walls, make me fall. Try to change my heart before it ever gets that far. Take me to a simpler time, slow it back down to you and I. You know how to break right through, the only one who knows the truth. Take me down that old dirt road, the one that always brings me home. Turn it to my favorite song. You know it, I've been gone too long. You pull me back in and remind me when I end up lost, you find me. Take me to a simpler time, slow it back down to you and I. You know how to break right through, the only one who knows the truth. Take me down that old dirt road, the one that always brings me home. Turn it to my favorite song. You know, and I've been gone too long.